we think of culture as kind of values, identity, trust, teamwork, leadership, engagement, cohesion, honesty, mission, purpose. Like it goes on and on. So, and we also think of it as being kind of entangled and enmeshed with the identity of the people, right? We think of it as being kind of something you possess. It's even in our language, we say they have good culture. In the same way we would say that someone has blue eyes or curly hair. And actually, I think that's wildly wrong. I think we have focused on the wrong stuff, and we've thought about it as a possession instead of as a set of actions. Culture, to me, is a group of relationships working together to move toward a goal.
Yeah,
culture happens when people are adding up to more than the sum of their parts. Those are two kind of basic things. You're moving in a direction or a goal, and you're adding up to more than the sum of your parts. Culture is the result of behaviors. It is not the result of words. It's the result of behaviors that create connection, that create shared risk and shared information and transparency, and that create a sense of true north. So I have a functional definition of culture that is really about these three basic functions of you got to do three things. And the visual that I have in my head that I don't know, I find it useful is like culture in any group, especially today, is like a flock of birds moving through a forest at high speed. You got to do three things to succeed, right? You got to stay together. If you start getting split up, you're not going to have a culture.
Yep.
You got to share information. You have to share information. You can't have one bird yelling at everyone and saying where to turn 20 degrees left and now we're going to turn 20 degrees right. You got to self-organize around these obstacles. The modern world comes at you very quickly. Like our parents, if you were setting up an organization 50 years ago, you could just sort of have a set of rules and say, follow the rules, do your job, we'll be successful.
Yep.
That world is gone. The world's changing too fast. So you've got to share information so you can have situational awareness and self-organize around this obstacle and that obstacle and the next obstacle. And the third thing you have to have is direction. And you do that by establishing purpose. So you got to know where true north is. So in every culture, these aren't things that are just like, icing on the cake. Like, let's have ping pong and let's have an IPA at 5 o'clock on Thursdays or whatever. These are functional behaviors you have to have because you have to have the function of connection. You have to have the function of situational awareness. So you know when to turn left and when to turn right. And you have to have the function of navigation so you know where true north is. So that's what culture is. It's the behaviors that create these group functions, and it lives not in any one leader, but in the space between people, in the behaviors that they exchange continually. You never get culture to a spot where like you're done. Like that's another misunderstanding about culture I think that a lot of people have.
Culture's done, we're
they
good.
Sort of think, we're done, we're all set, right? We're Pixar, right? We're Pixar, we're good. We're the Navy SEALs, we're good. We have a great culture. It can fall apart like that because it is a living thing. You know, your body has all these systems to communicate and create connection and create information and create navigation. Well, culture is just like a big body, right? It needs to have these systemic living flows that create that connection, that create the navigation. Like if your eyes stop working, you're going to bump into stuff. If a culture stops signaling its purpose, it's going to bump into stuff. If your heart stops pumping, you're going to lose energy. If a culture stops signaling safety and connection, it's going to lose energy.
Yeah.
So all of these things are just functional, they're systemic, and they need to be perpetuated continually, not just like, we're going to get to a spot and then we can take our foot off the gas.
Hey everyone, it's Jacob here. Thanks for watching. I wanted to let you know about a brand new resource that I just created called the Quick Guide to Improving Employee Experience, which you can download at employeeexperienceguide.com. That's employeeexperienceguide.com. And in this PDF, you're going to learn exactly what employee experience is, why it's important, and you're going to get some action items, some things that you can start doing right away inside of your organization. Employee experience is the #1 business trend for organizations around the world when it comes to attracting and retaining top talent. But what exactly is it? Where do we begin? What do we do? I'm going to talk about all of that and a lot more. Again, you can grab the PDF at employeeexperienceguide.com. That's employeeexperienceguide.com. I'll see you next time.